Right now, U.S. Chamber of Commerce Vice President J.D. Foster and former member of Trump's Hispanic Advisory Committee and BGC's Partners senior strategist Steve Cortes. Steve, I'm starting with you here. I mean, you've been a big Trump supporter, but I want to be realistic here on this in terms of timing. I mean, how long is it going to take him to get through the policies that he wants, like lower taxes and less regulation? And then how long are those policies going to take to really filter into the overall economy?
Right. You know, and Trish, listen, that's a very fair question, and I think I would caution Trump partisans, and I'm certainly one of them, but would caution them that this won't happen overnight. We're in a systemic downturn in many industries, particularly in manufacturing, and that's been really the most problematic area of the labor market. It won't turn around really quickly. However, having said that, too, on the optimistic side, here's what matters, I think, and I think you and I have talked about this a bit on air. As much as the policies matter, and they're crucial, we need deregulation, we need lower taxes, we need to get the government back in the business of facilitating business rather than fighting it. But as important as those are, the psychology is equally as important. And I think what we're seeing right now in America is a resurgence in optimism. We certainly saw it in the recent consumer confidence survey. If we start seeing that at a higher level, the executive level, in the C-suites, then I think there's going to be a lot more hiring and investment, and I hope much quicker than perhaps
you know
we would
what, and I think
anticipate.
You're going to see it. I mean, just anecdotally, I talk to CEOs all the time, and for 8 years, all I heard was, oh my goodness, this president is anti-business, and he is really making it difficult for us to be able to foresee the future, and thus we are not out there, you know, investing money in new plants. We're not investing, et cetera, because we don't know what the payoff is going to be or is not going to be. J.D., you know, you're at the Chamber of Commerce. Give me your overall thoughts on sort of where we are and where we're heading right now.
Well, the labor market is growing, as you noted. It was sort of a standard report for this presidency, for this year, for that matter. Job growth, but not super strong job growth. A few weaknesses here and there. The odd thing about the labor market, if anything, is it seems to be doing a little bit better than the rest of the economy. They're out of sync at the moment. And
well, if you believe it. I mean, J.D., I would just caution that, you know, the reason why you saw 4.6% unemployment, which is pretty darn good headline number, is because, guess what? Those are part-time jobs. And so when you're asked in that phone survey and people say, hey, are you looking for work right now? You say no, because I got a part-time job. And so that is reflected in that sort of improved number. The other thing is the labor force participation rate. A lot of people, J.D., have given up.
Right, and you're getting to the basic point. That's all from the household survey, and every once in a while the household survey kicks out some anomalous results. We're going to see the unemployment rate in all likelihood. It'd be nice if it stayed where it is, but in all likelihood it's going to jump back to where it was because it doesn't reflect the underlying strength in the economy.
And let's not forget, you know, Steve Cortes, this is an important thing. Sometimes, oftentimes, most times, the unemployment rate actually does go up as the economy starts to improve. And the reason for that is, sir?
Well, you get people
maybe
getting
over
more
to
encouraged.
Steve for a moment here.
Yeah, no, you make a great point that paradoxically it actually would be a good thing probably for that rate to tick up a little bit. Now, we don't want it to soar, but for the unemployment rate to tick up, and the reason being it would convince people to come back in the workforce. We have 95 million working-age Americans right now who are not in the labor force. Now, I think tens of millions of them potentially would get back in the labor force if they were so motivated, if they saw enough opportunity to get back in the labor force. And so we have to, I mean, by the way, that's a large country in and of itself in America. You know, we're roughly 300 million people. We have 100 million either too young or too old to work. We have 100 million working, and then we have almost 100 million not working. That's unsustainable long term, but thank goodness, you know, like, I don't want to just curse the darkness. We lit a candle this election, and I believe that's Donald Trump and the kind of policies that he's going to bring in, repatriating capital from abroad. That's probably going to be the quickest boost, I believe, to capital investment and to hiring people. When these companies bring trillions of dollars potentially of capital that is profits that are now trapped overseas by our tax policy.
It could be a huge boost. You're absolutely right, and there's this optimism out there that we just haven't seen for a while. But let me talk about some of the caveats. J.D., people are concerned about the potential for a 35% tariff on goods coming into the U.S. I know, Steve, frankly, you're a little concerned about it, too, and you don't think that that's the way to go, that we need to be rewarding companies via lower regulations, lower taxes. Right. J.D., how concerned are you about potential tariffs?
Well, here's the deal. You can protect the U.S. economy. You can make it stronger. You can make companies want to come into the U.S. By making the U.S. a better place to do business. And that's what Mr. Trump, for the most part, has spent his time talking about. Lower regulations, rule of law, stable prices, lower sensible tax rates. That's what he's been talking about. And if you do those things, companies are going to want to stay here. You're not going to need tariffs, which are self-destructive. you're going to have what you need, which is a good environment. Companies will want to come to the United States.
Well,
what we've had for the last 8 years is, frankly, a set of policies out of this president that have wanted to drive companies away, regulation and tax above all. And then when the companies did actually finally have to give up and leave, they imposed separate taxes on them to try to make them...
Part of making America great again is making America competitive again. And you do that with these policies. J.D. and Steve, thank you so much. Good to see you guys.